he's far from a finished product, but for me, Blake, I had him as the top returning quarterback in the SEC because you can't ignore 4,000 plus yards. You just can't ignore it.
Yep.
To be the top guy taken next April, which I think he has that potential.
I do too.
When you look at the quarterback class. What does he need to show you? Is it decisiveness? Is it decision making? Is it something else?
So just in case not everybody saw it, they'll watch this. Carter said that he thought that he had a great game against South Carolina. And I was like, look, we can fight over semantics, but okay, 3 turnovers in a game to me is not a great game.
No.
Doesn't mean that you can't have great moments. Okay, are we gonna forget about the 3 turnovers? Bryce, think about this. There was 9 turnovers in 4 games. Or 3, 9 turnovers in 3 games. And then 11 turnovers in 4 in the heart of your SEC when you lost 3 straight. All right, so let's break that down. What I need to see Garrett Nussmeier get better at is one thing and one thing only, is decision-making, okay? A lot of people put Joe Sloan in a prism of him, quote-unquote, making bad calls. And the Florida game, I had kind of had enough, and I took to Twitter like, hey, man, this is a 3rd and 4. You have Aaron Anderson on a drag route. They went quarters and then pushed quarters. So for that, the linebackers are just pushing out. They're making Garrett throw everything underneath.
Yeah.
You're missing those constantly. You had an in route by Kyron Lacy that's missed, and he is wide open. I think that there are a couple things working for and against Garrett because, look, it's a new offense. It's a new lingo. It's a new situation. You're right. He's a first-time starter. He's got to work through that. The thing for Garrett, whether it be him as a freshman when he came in against Arkansas or whether he came in again and threw for 300 yards and a half against Georgia, what is everything amounted to that we want to see him work on? Decision-making and turnovers. Bryce, you will not. Look, he is, and I mean this, he by far as a passer is the most gifted dude in the SEC, maybe not named Arch Manning. Okay, pick whichever one you want. Fine by me. I don't care. As a passer, a pure overall passer, when he's in rhythm, nobody will beat out Garrett Nussmeier. No one. The problem comes in when he starts making bad decisions and has to press. Now, I know what the argument's going to be. Blake, he didn't have a running game. You're right. There's no defending that. The problem is that does not eliminate turnovers. That does not eliminate the fact that you have to stop making turnovers. Bryce, he had 17 turnovers. And so for me to come out here and say that you got to eliminate the turnovers, me and you, so let's take LSU out of the equation for 1 second. You and I had a conversation literally in the fall and talking about Georgia Tech. I'm like, bro, if Haynes King starts turning the ball over, they're going to upset somebody they shouldn't. That's the conversation that you and I had about Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
We just found a letter like we're Blues Clues. They're on the prefaces of knocking off the SEC champion in Georgia. He's not turning the ball over. So, again, it doesn't matter if it's Jesus Christ Almighty, Garrett Nussmeier, or whoever quarterback that you want to put in there. If you do not eliminate some of those, Bryce, if he's not at 8 to 9 turnovers, you are not going to be in the playoffs. You cannot have 17 turnovers and make it. It will not I don't care who you are. You have to be special on one side of the football for that to happen. So, again, is he going to throw for 30 touchdowns? Probably. Is he going to throw for 4,000 yards? More than likely. Is his completion percentage going to be better? More than likely. It's the decision-making of the turnovers. Now, my humble opinion is late in the game, he gets lazy with footwork. Bryce, think about this. Of the 12 interceptions that he threw this year, 10 of them came after halftime in every game. Teams adjusted on him, so the split was 11 touchdowns to 10 interceptions in the second half of games. All of those came in, or 9 of those came, in the second half in the SEC. One of them came against South Alabama. Think about this. It was the month of October that this really exploded. So the heart of your season when you didn't have a bye, teams adjusted against you, and not even Garrett. This isn't on Garrett. This is where I get on Joe Sloan. You kept running the same stuff, and they adjusted to you. So that for me is where not only Garrett, run game, and everything, the decision making from Sloan, from Garrett, and from the running game has got to take a big leap forward. Do I think Garrett is going to be better? I can't say this more than I've been saying it. I think that he's a Heisman Trophy contender.
Yeah,
I do not know how how else clear I can make it that I think he's a Heisman Trophy contender. But Bryce, somebody's going to have to come at me and tell me where they think that 17 turnovers and not fixing that is like, Bryce. I feel like I'm having a fight about something so stupid. Like,
yeah.
I do. By the way, Haynes King had 17 turnovers. So I mean, like, is he a first-time starter? Yes. What has been the thing with Garrett that everybody has said? Well, man, if he reigns in the decision making and turnovers, man, he might be elite. It's not a first-time thing that we've talked about.
Yeah.
So if and when that happens, I mean, man, you're going to make a playoff. I mean, like, I do think it could be that simple.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I like what you said, too, about just him in rhythm. And I just go back to a couple instances, a couple special moments. The last drive against Ole Miss and just certain stuff where you see when he's locked in. I mean, you kind of go back and I'm thinking throw of the year, and I've got a couple candidates. The throw over the middle against Ole Miss. I mean, that is the definition of locked in. That's what, when NFL GMs and scouts turn on the tape, that's going to be one of the first 2 or 3 clips off of his film.
Anticipation.
The anticipation of that throw is what you have to have.
Right.
No, I love it. I love what you said. I'm on base with you too. I think it's really as simple as that. If he cuts it down, he should be in New York, and LSU should be hosting a playoff game. I'll even go that far. They should be hosting a playoff game.
I agree.
He is, in fact, 7 or less turnovers, because we're talking about a monster season for him.
Well, and think about this too now. He might not be able to lead you out of it, but I know for a fact that, like, Jaden Daniels couldn't lead you out of it. Well, Blake, our defense was worse than what we're going to be. I get that. I'm with you. Okay, like, come on. But there also comes a fact too where, like, there are other things that got to go well around him. But at the same time, it's the number one thing that they have to work in the offseason. It's not the running game. It's not what receiver's going to be out there. Can Chris Hilton stay healthy? None of that. Bryce, they simply have to punt the football. Like, as Nick Saban said, every drive ends in a kick. Every good drive ends in a kick.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about great, like, you can have great moments in a game. Doesn't mean you had a great game. Did any of those Brett Favre playoff appearances when he threw 3 picks? I mean, like, what are we talking? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Listen, I had this conversation today with fans. Okay. They're on my rear end. They don't want to listen to me be negative in reference to this. Okay. Sounds good. Would you rather me lie to you?
Yeah, that's fair.
Would you rather? Okay. You know what? We're going to win a national championship, Bryce. We're going 16-0, 15-0. We're not going to lose a game. We're going to run for 5,000 yards.
Yeah, we're going to have a trio of running backs, each run for over,
Arlen Berry's going to break the NCAA record in rushing yards this year.
And no, it's real. I mean, look, that's what I think. That's what drives me crazy about certain sections. And look, I'm not calling out every single fan ever. I mean, look, there's certain sects of every fan base that they constantly just want to be told the positives, and there are positives to be talked about, and we're going to highlight those.
Yes.
But you also have to ask the questions when there is statistical data that backs up, that maybe supports a question that's legitimate. It's not hating.